You wake up, and the first thing you notice isn't the cold. It's the smell. Not sharp, not sudden, but thick, layered, ancient. It clings to your skin, your hair, the straw beneath you. A scent built from sweat that hasn't been washed in weeks. From damp cloth, from something faintly rotting that you can't quite place. And then it hits you. You are not meant to bathe today. Not tomorrow. Not even next week. Because in the year 1348, water can kill you. The light creeps in through a narrow slit in the wall. Weak, gray, unwelcoming. You sit up on a mattress stuffed with straw that hasn't been changed in months, maybe longer. It crackles beneath you, alive with things you try not to think about. There is no basin of steaming water waiting, no soap, no relief. Instead, you reach for a rough strip of linen, dip it into a bowl of cold water, and wipe your face. That's it. That is your hygiene. No one around you questions it. In fact, doing more would be dangerous. Because across Europe, from London to Florence, a terrifying idea has taken hold. An idea sharpened by the shadow of the Black Death. Doctors warn that hot water opens the pores, and pores are doorways. Doorways through which the miasma, the poisoned air of disease, can slip inside your body and rot you from within. So people adapt. They stop bathing, not because they are ignorant, but because they are afraid. If you are wealthy, you don't scrub your skin. You change your shirt. Fine white linen, soft against the body, is believed to pull impurities out through the skin, like a silent sponge drawing sickness away. A nobleman might change his linen 3, even 4 times a day, convinced he is cleansing himself without ever touching water. The cleaner your linen looks, the cleaner you believe you are. And so a strange illusion takes hold across society. Clean clothes become a substitute for a clean body. But underneath, the skin remains untouched, layered, sealed. Step outside. The air does not refresh you. It presses against your face, heavy with overlapping scents. Unwashed bodies, animal dung, smoke from damp firewood, and something sweeter, but artificial. People carry small pouches of herbs, lavender, rosemary, mint, held close to the nose, not as luxury, but as defense, because the world itself smells infected. You run your tongue along your teeth. They feel rough, not from neglect, but from the way you clean them. There are no toothbrushes. Instead, you take a cloth, dip it into a mixture of crushed salt, powdered bone, maybe charcoal, and scrub. Hard. Too hard. Your gums bleed sometimes. That's normal. Everyone's gums bleed. And if a tooth begins to ache, you already know the explanation. A worm. A tiny creature burrowing into the tooth, chewing from the inside. It's what people believe, what they see in their minds when the pain becomes unbearable. And the solution? There is no dentist, only a barber surgeon, and his tools are not made for comfort. No anesthetic, no numbing, just force, just hands, just the sound of something cracking inside your skull. But the body is only the beginning, because the real horror is not how you clean yourself. It's where everything goes after. If you are lucky, you live in a castle, and even there, relief is an illusion. You step into a narrow stone chamber, cold, echoing. There is a slab with a hole. That's your toilet. No water, no flushing, only gravity. Everything drops into darkness below, into a pit that grows day after day, layer after layer. In summer, the smell rises back up, thick enough to sting your eyes, strong enough to make breathing feel like swallowing something alive. And yet, there's something even stranger. Your clothes, your finest robes, may be hanging right there beside it, because the ammonia from human waste kills parasites. The toilet doubles as a fumigation chamber, luxury and filth existing side by side. But if this is life for the wealthy, then what waits beyond the castle walls, in the streets, in the alleys, in the homes of everyone else, is something far worse. A system so overwhelmed so broken that entire cities begin to drown, not in water, but in their own waste. And tonight, when darkness falls, men will climb down into that filth, barehanded, breathing it in, because if they don't, the city suffocates. Night falls, and the city exhales. What daylight hides, darkness reveals. This is when the real work begins. They move through the streets in silence, boots scraping stone, carts creaking under weight. These men are known as gong farmers. They handle what no one else will even look at. Their work begins where every household ends, behind homes, beneath buildings, under narrow courtyards. Pits lie hidden. Not empty spaces, but deep wells filled over months with human waste. There is no drainage system to carry it away. It stays. It builds. It rots. When the cover is lifted, the air turns hostile. The gases trapped inside are not just foul, they are lethal. A single breath can overwhelm the lungs. Men have collapsed within seconds, overcome before they could climb out. Yet the work continues. A ladder is lowered. One man descends. Inside, there is no solid ground. The surface shifts underfoot, thick and unstable. The darkness is absolute. Every movement is uncertain. He works by instinct, not sight. Shovel, lift, pass. Again, again, again. Above him, another man hauls the buckets out and empties them into a cart. The load will be taken beyond the city limits, dumped where it will not immediately return. Sometimes the rhythm breaks. Sometimes the man below stops answering. When that happens, no one rushes in after him. Not immediately. The risk is too high. One death can quickly become two. The pit keeps what it takes. By morning, the work is unfinished. It is always unfinished. The streets carry the rest. What cannot be removed collects in open space. There are gutters, but they do not function as modern drainage. They hold stagnant runoff, rainwater mixed with refuse, thickened into a slow, contaminated flow. People throw waste from windows, not carelessly, but because there is no alternative. A warning may be shouted, but it changes little. The street absorbs everything. Walking is an exercise in caution. Each step lands on layers, compacted straw, scraps of food, animal droppings, and human waste ground into the surface over time. The original cobblestone disappears beneath it. Movement stirs the smell. It does not drift. It rises. Animals roam freely. Pigs consume discarded food. Dogs tear at whatever they find. Chickens pick through the remains. They reduce some of the waste, but they cannot eliminate it. They add to it. Nothing truly leaves the system. It only changes form. Water does not cleanse the city. Rain spreads contamination across a wider area, carrying it into wells, into storage containers, into anything left exposed. Clean water becomes difficult to separate from polluted water, and yet it is all used. Inside the body, the consequences accumulate. Illness rarely has a single cause. It builds from constant exposure. Unclean hands, contaminated food, water that carries unseen life. Parasites become part of daily existence. They enter quietly and remain. A person may eat regularly and still feel weak. Energy fades without explanation. Hunger returns too quickly. Children suffer more visibly. Their growth slows. Their bodies change shape. Thin limbs, distended stomachs. Signs of something wrong that no one can fully explain. This condition is not rare. It is expected. Across the city, certain trades rely on the very substances others try to avoid. Tanneries operate at the edge of habitation for a reason. The process of turning animal hide into leather requires chemical breakdown. Urine is collected and stored until it ferments. It produces ammonia, which softens the fibers. Animal waste is added to complete the process. Workers stand in vats of this mixture for hours. Their skin absorbs it. Cuts and abrasions remain exposed. The smell spreads far beyond the workshop. It marks the area long before it is seen. Nothing is isolated. Waste connects every part of the environment. homes, streets, industries, bodies. It circulates. Survival depends on endurance. People adjust because there is no alternative. The body learns to tolerate conditions that would overwhelm someone unfamiliar with them. Exposure becomes normal. Discomfort becomes background. This is not a temporary hardship. It defines daily life. And still, one problem remains unresolved. Not the streets, not the pits. Something smaller, more personal. After everything is done, after the body has emptied itself, there is still the question of how to clean it. Because in this world, even that simplest act has no simple solution. There is no paper, no soft, disposable layer that separates you from what just left your body. There is only what you can find. If you live in the countryside, you step away from your work, far enough to feel some privacy, not far enough to waste time. You look around. Your options are immediate and limited. Broad leaves, dry grass, moss pulled from damp ground, straw gathered from the same bedding you sleep on. Each choice has a cost. Leaves tear too easily. Straw scratches the skin. Moss holds moisture, but not always cleanliness. Nothing is sterile. Nothing is reliable. In towns, the situation changes, but it does not improve. You use what is available indoors. Scraps of cloth, reused when necessary. Wool, if you can afford to lose it. Sometimes nothing at all. Just water, if it can be spared. But water is not abundant, and it is rarely clean. And afterward, there is no sink, no soap waiting beside a basin. At best, hands are wiped on fabric. At worst, they are left as they are. From here, everything spreads. Food is handled. Bread is torn apart by the same hands. Meat is shared. Drink is passed between people. There is no clear boundary between clean and unclean, because no such boundary truly exists. Intestinal parasites thrive in this environment. They pass from surface to hand, from hand to mouth, from one person to another without resistance. Once inside, they remain. Some grow slowly, unnoticed at first. Others cause pain, sharp, twisting discomfort that comes and goes without warning. There are no clear treatments, only guesses. Herbs are used where they can be. Bitter plants ground into mixtures and swallowed in hope rather than certainty. Sometimes they help. Often they do not. The body adapts, but never fully wins. Strength fades faster than it should. Recovery takes longer. Small illnesses linger. And still, life continues. In wealthier homes, the process carries a thin layer of comfort. A private chamber, a designated seat, cloth set aside for use. But even here, nothing is discarded easily. Fabric is washed and reused, handled again, returned to circulation. There are older methods, forgotten by most. The Romans once used a shared sponge fixed to a stick, rinsed in vinegar between uses. A simple tool, more effective than what replaced it. But that system is gone, lost with the structures that supported it. What remains is improvisation, a constant negotiation with discomfort. People understand the limits around them. They know what is missing. They know what would make life easier. But knowledge alone cannot create it. So they manage. They reduce risk where they can. They build habits around what is available. They survive within a system that offers no clean escape. Because in this world, hygiene is not a routine. It is a struggle, repeated every day, never fully resolved. By 1348, life in European cities was already fragile. Streets were crowded. Waste accumulated faster than it could be removed. Clean water was limited. People lived in constant contact with contamination. Then the Black Death arrived. It entered a world that was already vulnerable. Rats moved easily through homes, storage areas, and streets. Fleas feeding on them carried the infection. When those fleas bit humans, the disease crossed over without warning. No one saw it happen. People only saw what came next. A fever that rose suddenly. Pain that spread through the body. Swellings forming under the arms, along the neck, in the groin. Hard, dark, and intensely painful. These were the buboes. Within days, the condition worsened. The body weakened. Vomiting began. Dark patches appeared on the skin as internal bleeding spread. Most people died within a week. This time, endurance did not help. People who had survived years of poor conditions still fell quickly. The body had limits, and this disease exceeded them. The city could not respond. Systems that already struggled with daily waste now faced mass death. Carts that once carried refuse began carrying bodies. Burial grounds filled. Space ran out. Mass graves became necessary. Families did not have time to grieve. One person fell ill, then another. Entire households were lost within days. Houses stood closed and silent. Fear spread faster than understanding. People searched for reasons. Many turned to the idea of poisoned air. They believed disease entered through the breath and through the skin. From this belief came a dangerous conclusion. Hot water opens the pores. Open pores allow disease to enter. So people began to avoid bathing, not because they were indifferent to cleanliness, but because they believed it could expose them to death. Bathhouses, once used in many towns, began to decline. People relied more on changing linen and masking odor. The attempt to protect the body moved further away from actual cleanliness. Nothing stopped the spread. The disease moved through rich and poor alike. Wealth could not guarantee safety. Isolation was inconsistent. Knowledge was limited. By the time it slowed, entire communities had changed. In many regions, a third or more of the population was gone. Labor became scarce. Daily life shifted. Social structures began to adjust. But those changes came after widespread loss. The conditions of medieval life did not create the plague, but they allowed it to spread without resistance. Poor sanitation increased exposure. Crowded living increased contact. Limited knowledge led to decisions that often made survival harder. When the plague arrived, it did not begin the crisis. It exposed how unprepared the world already was.